So the second song that you released in 2020 is called Before Daylight. So this has more of a pop sound than Speak of the Devil. It's got a ton of catchy hooks, really good production. Can you talk about, there's like these keys, these kind of spacey sounding keys that are in the song. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does that make any sense?
I
It's like
think
way in
so.
the background, like you need headphones, and it sounds like
Mhm.
like keyboard, like just
Mhm.
really spacey notes that add to the
Mhm.
production. I don't know, maybe they're super subtle that I
Yeah,
shouldn't be
probably.
hearing them or
Honestly,
something.
yeah, my producer would probably know what you're talking about. He's really good at adding like really subtle things that just like, but if you like, you can't hear it, but if you take it away, you can feel that it's gone, you know? So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he like threw something in there that I didn't, I
Yeah,
wasn't a part of.
to me it's adding like a thickness, it's adding
Hmm.
production that's adding to the vibe. So I was going to
Totally.
bring up later something, but I'll bring it up now, is that your songs, all four that are currently out, they sound like you. So there's the cohesiveness of like you're the artist and it's your voice and your style of writing and lyrically and all that stuff. But all four songs sound different, which is very hard to do, especially when it's like acoustic based. You know, it's not like there's all these crazy instruments that can change up every song. So that's a compliment that somehow you're able to find originality across songs while keeping a consistency of this is one artist doing these four songs. And another thing is, you mentioned Taylor Swift before. I'm going to bring up Billie Eilish for a second. So she is the biggest, most successful, most critically acclaimed artist of the last, say, 5 years. And she's a master at creating atmosphere. There's like a density to her music. There's atmosphere. There's always these haunting undertones. And I find that you have that gift where you have haunting, your songs all have this little bit of darkness in there, and they all have
Hmm.
something haunting going on, and they have production in the sense of there's little things happening that again you might not know are there, but you feel them and you would definitely notice if they weren't there. So is Billie Eilish someone that you're a fan of? And that, yeah, that's a compliment. I guess I'm just trying to give you a compliment basically.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you so much. Yeah, her vocals are beautiful. Like her doubles and harmonies are just so locked in. That's definitely something we strived for on Speak of the Devil. I remember the harmonies for that one were so fun because it was just like sing this line like as creepy as you possibly can. Like just be
That's a good
totally
goal.
creepy. Yeah, I know. And I remember we were doing whisper tracks too on top of the vocal. And it was pretty funny because like I sounded like a demon when I was doing this, but it's
Well,
in the
speak of the
song. Like,
devil, I mean, it's supposed
yeah,
to be kind of hellish.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But it was just like I sounded like a demon because he was like, sing it like whisper it punchy, but like get in there and um yeah, it sounded like so crazy if you were to listen to it on its own, but not in the song. It sounded great in the song.
So before daylight, there's the lyrics, loving you became a habit. So have you ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have been? And my comment to that is, you know, sometimes we think that the devil we know is better than the devil we don't know, which means that you're in a relationship that you know it's the wrong person, you know you should leave, but maybe that's still better than being alone or thinking you might be alone forever.
Totally. Yeah, I've definitely done it. I'm guilty of staying in a relationship longer than I should have. Um and that's definitely where that song came from. Um yeah, loving you became a habit is a perfect explanation for it. It's just like it becomes a habit, you get comfortable. It just becomes your daily routine and it's really difficult to just one day be like, nope, we're gonna just, even if you don't really love that person, it's still hard to break up, in a sense where you're completely changing the routine, you're changing who you're surrounded by, your energy. Like it's yeah.
and there's a history there, and there's memories
Yeah.
there, and
Mhm.
there's always kind of the hope and the optimism that maybe you could get back to where things were at their peak in the relationship. And
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think the beginning stages of a relationship are like, of course, the best. And then as soon as it gets a little farther, it's like, okay, are you getting bored? Are you like, you don't, was it just the thrill of it or whatever? Um, yeah, that's definitely where that song came from.
so there's two more songs we're going to dive into. As a fan, I'm curious, are these singles that are being released, are these leading to an EP or an album that I can digest all at once?
Well, I will say when we were releasing Speak of the Devil, Before Daylight, and Pretty, it was more of an experimentation with my sound. I didn't really know who I wanted to be as an artist. I had just kind of like, I mean, when the pandemic hit, me and my band kind of separated too. So it was like the people that I had known for so long, that we played with for so long, all of that, like everything changed that I knew about music and about, everything everything about music changed. So it was really about finding who I wanted to be. Did I want to be a pop artist? Did I want to be, like a folk? And not to put labels on it, but I needed to find like a place for myself in the industry. And I think that the songs I'm releasing now are kind of, I found that place that where I want to be. And this, I'm releasing an EP right now. You may have picked up on it. I haven't said it explicitly. People would only really notice if they're looking into it. But if you've noticed, the Slip Away artwork has like a 1 out of 5 in the corner, and then like the Clean has a 2 out of 5 in the corner. So there's these 5 songs that I'm putting out slowly, and yeah, they really feel like they're me, even though they're completely different. They really feel like they're part of who I am and like who I want to be as an artist moving forward.
So the 5 song EP, it'll be the 4 songs plus the new single Clean. Is that correct or no?
No, actually, they're not
you're
released
not
yet.
gonna you're not gonna put Before Daylight and Pretty and all those on it. Oh man,
No, I'm
okay.
not.
Curveball. Curveball.
No, it's a completely different thing. And I'm
So
I'm
wait,
so proud
sorry.
of it.
So it is Clean the first song that we know from this new EP
No, it's the second song.
with Slip Away.
Slip Away was the 1st.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My whole world got shook up for a second. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
hold on to something here. Okay, cool. All right. Well, we'll dive into Pretty next, which came out in 2021. Do your songs usually come together in a specific order? So what I'm asking is, sometimes I just have all these lyrics everywhere, and it's like, oh, you find a good lyric and you build a song around it, and then you add music to it. You find a vocal melody. Sometimes you're just playing guitar and you have cool guitar riffs and you build a song around that, and you go, oh, this is where the chorus would be, and then you find a melody, and then eventually the last thing you do is lyrics. Do your songs normally come together in a certain order, or are you picking pieces from everywhere and assembling after?
Yeah, it's all kind of different for me, to be honest. Like I was saying before, I'm a neat freak. Like everything has to be super organized, um, down to a T. And songwriting is the one thing I allow myself to kind of be messy and be free. I have like, countless notebooks in my drawer that I just like, they have songs from when I was 7 years old. They have songs from last year. It's kind of all over the place. And I would say that it's a very non-linear process for me. Like I sometimes it's melody, sometimes it's lyric, sometimes it's a guitar thing. Sometimes it's even more recently my producer has given me tracks that I'm just like I'm writing things to. So that's new for me too. But yeah, it's completely non-linear all over the place.
So on the song Pretty, is it programmed drums on Pretty and on Daylight, and then real drums on Speak? Is that accurate, or is it programmed drums on Speak as well?
Yeah, Speak of the Devil was interesting. We recorded drums, but for one reason or another, the files didn't sound the way we wanted them to. So what my producer actually did was he took samples from his previous sessions or wherever he recorded these drums from. And he actually just built, like, programmed the drums, but like programmed like real drums in a sense. So he was like programming like the velocities of them and automating every little thing to make it sound like it was a real drummer. But yeah, Before Daylight and Pretty were completely programmed.
Wow, he fooled me with the drums on Speak of the
Yeah.
Devil. Yeah, because my like in my notes, it's okay. There's
Hmm.
real drums recorded for Speak of the Devil. So give your producer a compliment
Hmm.
because I have a background in audio engineering. I'm like, okay, real drummer there, and then program drums on the other one. So that's kind of cool. So what would you say the
Yeah.
song Pretty is about? So I kind of shared what I thought the first two songs were about. This one I'll let you share with the listeners what it's about.
Yeah. Pretty I got influence from this because I had a friend in middle school who I was super close with. She was like this beautiful girl who like everyone was kind of jealous of and everyone wanted to be, and like, um, including myself. And as her best friend, I kind of saw what she went through on a day-to-day life, and it wasn't what people would have thought. Her home life and everything she went through mentally was like it was intense, and I think that if people knew that about her, they wouldn't want to be her so badly. And I guess the point of the song is like appreciate what you have and don't want to, want to be someone else because you don't know what they're going through. It's they could be going through something that you don't want any part of. So, just appreciate what you have. And the one line, don't you want it desperately to be pretty, is kind of like a sarcasm, like, oh, so you want to be her, you want that desperately, like, okay, try to walk a day in her shoes, you know um so yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, we look at like insanely gorgeous people and we think like, oh man, that would be the best. So, that's what I want. And
Yeah.
with a background in the entertainment industry, like I'm friends with a lot of ridiculously good looking people, and most of them are as
Mhm.
insecure as the rest of us, and they have challenges that we don't think they'd have. Like there's one time where I brought a friend um out, like whatever, out to a restaurant, and she's so good looking that like waitresses would be like, oh hey, I'm here to take, oh my god, you're so pretty. Like it never stops, and it's like it sounds like it'd be
Yeah.
nice to get compliments all the time, but it's also like,
Hmm.
hey, like I'm a person and I have skills and I'm actually very intelligent, and it's like you get pigeonholed for everything. And um it also becomes your identity, which makes getting older uh, harder because it's like
Totally.
your looks at some point slip away to some degree. And it's like that's who they were. And
Hmm.
if they can't lean on that crutch, it's like, who am I? So, anyways, that's the experience that I've had with people, is that be careful what you wish for. And a lot of times when you complain about your
Hmm.
life, it's like if you put everyone's problems in a bag and you had to choose, by the end of it, you'd end up just taking your own problems back if you knew how bad some people do have it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Totally. Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
I don't even know what my point was for that, but you have remixes for two of your songs. So I believe it's Pretty and Speak of the
Mhm.
Devil. You have remixes. How did those come to be? Is that uh, you know producers or someone that was a fan of the music that thought, hey, this would be a cool song to mix or to remix? Or did you think, these are kind of acoustic songs that maybe with a beat behind them, they'd be pretty cool too?
Years ago, my producer, he has a lot of friends in like the game industry who, make sound effects for games or, you know, just audio in games in general. And one of them had heard Speak of the Devil, and he was like, that's such a cool song. Like, can I get the stems just to mess around with it? And we're like, yeah, of course. Like, he's a super talented person. He does his own music thing. His stage name is Kepler North. I was like, I have no problem giving them to you. So gave them to him. This was when Speak of the Devil came out, so it's been a long time, and he got it back to us, and we're like, this is amazing. Like this is so cool. And then for one reason or another, it kind of got pushed to the back burner, I think, for a few years until recently, where he was like, okay, I'm ready to release this now. I'm gonna revamp it. I'm gonna rework it a little, and then we're gonna we're going to release it. And so, yeah, that's where that one came from. And then Pretty was another one of my producer's friends named Brian Redmond, who it was kind of the same thing. He was like, that's such a cool song. Can I grab the stems? Can I remix it? And can we release it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely.
And do you have an app on your phone, or do you have a hard drive that has all these recorded ideas, whether it's melody or lyrics? It's like a database that you can just, when it's time to write and get down to it, you can just pluck this stuff out of there.
Yeah, it's a painful amount. Honestly, I need to move them to a hard drive because if I were to like lose my phone, I mean, I guess they're probably on my iCloud, but yeah,
Man,
my
don't
voice
don't
memos are
don't
like,
count on
I
that,
think
man.
it's,
I got a new phone,
I
and
know.
sometimes the iCloud stuff doesn't transfer like you think it does, or it saves some things but not voice memos. You don't realize that that's not selected. So, anyways, go ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's just my messy songwriting habits, I guess. I just like it's like I try to name them, but it's like, if I just have a melody, like I don't know what to name that, so I name it like melody number, 500 and whatever. But yeah, it's like almost I think it's almost in the thousands. Like I have a lot of voice memos and I try to keep the notes down to a minimum. Like usually when I come up with an idea, I know if it's gonna like if I'm gonna continue it or not. Um, and if I don't, I'll usually just like whatever. But I always go back to the ones that I remember. So I'll always kind of like I usually I don't have a problem like naming things right off the bat. Like even if it changes down the road, I just call it what the first thing that comes to my head, like what this is about, what it made me feel like. So yeah, I try to keep it relatively down to a minimum in my notes, but the voice memos are getting a little out of control.
Yeah, the issue with, having voice note number 521 is, it's fine if you're just going back and listening to things, just to have new ideas. But if you're searching for something specific where it's like, wait, what was that one melody I had? It's like, how do you know if it's voice memo 531 or 622? And gets tough, man. Here's the good news is
Mhm.
you have so many ideas that there's too much. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is a good problem to have. It's a good problem.
What would you say is your favorite part of the recording process?
Definitely recording vocals. Me and my producer have such a fun time with recording vocals. Um, it's just like it's such an expressive part of the process, and we go to the extreme to get that performance. Like if I need to be mad that day, like he'll try to piss me off, like for me to get in that headspace to be mad to deliver the right vocal. Um, yeah, he really does a great job of bringing a performance out of me.
I thought you were going to say he does a really good job of pissing me off, but that's not what you said.
Yeah, that too.
That's funny.